All right, ready. I am back again. I made a video, I guess it's probably a week ago, after seeing Nobody. And I tell you, what a freaking awesome movie if you're into action. And not your typical Hollywood created movie. I feel like what Hollywood's been putting out lately is just garbage. So with that being said, I'm going to break my own rules. Last week I said I wasn't going to put out another, or I don't like to put out movies that like promote stuff, but I'm a movie guy. I love movies. I mean, I always have been, and my two favorite genres are either horror or action. I mean, I'm not opposed to other genres, but those are definitely my go-to. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering what I'm doing, every night before I go to bed, I do my cardio so that I'm not as fat as I would normally be. I get the metabolism of a snail. If I eat like normal people, I'd easily be 3 bills. So this is how I keep myself around the 270 mark. But anyway, I thought I'd do this little series every once in a while, 5-10 minutes long, on just some of my favorite movies. I'm sure you haven't. There's probably a good chance you probably haven't heard of any of the movies I'm going to recommend, but there's a reason for that. I'm just not a big fan of the big Hollywood promoted movies. I don't always look for the happy ending at the ending. One of my favorite critics is a guy on YouTube. He's called Horrible Reviews, and he does a lot of movies on horror, and he does a whole series on movies that are considered what's the word, disturbing. So he does a whole disturbing movie series. The guy I think is from like Belgium or something, so he does a lot of foreign films too. But I found a lot of the movies that I watched from him, at least the foreign ones. But the movie I'm going to mention tonight is a movie with Nicolas Cage in it. Now, I'm not typically a Nicolas Cage fan. He's a little over the top for me in most of the movies he's been in. But I found this little gem probably about a decade ago, and I have to tell you, it's definitely in my top 5 of all time favorite movies. I continually watch it over and over again. I bought it. I keep it in my movie room in case there's nothing on, and I'll throw it in. And what's so great about this movie is the fact that he's literally the only big name in the movie. Most of the people in the movie were walk-ons from the town where they filmed it. And one of the main actors was this alcoholic, homeless guy in the movie, who in real life was an alcoholic and homeless. And he put on this acting debut that rivaled even Nicolas Cage. And he went on, I think the movie ended up being dedicated to him, because soon after the movie debuted, he went back to his old ways and actually died on the street from drinking. So anyway, I'm going to give you a little brief synopsis of the movie, and then you can go check it out if you want. But the movie's called Joe, and basically Nicolas Cage plays a guy, a small business owner in this little town, and he has a business that goes in and actually kills trees. So they poison the trees. They have this like axe with a poison tank set up where they chop the tree, puts poison in, and kills the tree. Because by law, I guess the lumber companies can't cut down live trees, but if the trees have been killed and they're dead, they can come in and clear them. So it's like a little loophole. So he has this group of day workers. Again, none of them are actors. The main guy who basically organizes the day workers, not an actor, but he again does an awesome job. Would rival most Hollywood elites. So he has this company. He's out working one day. This kid shows up and he wants a job. So Nicolas Cage gives him the job. But the kid's homeless, and his father and mother are drug addicts, and the father's very abusive. And the father is the guy I was telling you about, who was actually in real life an alcoholic and homeless. So I don't want to give too much of the movie away, but Nicolas Cage ends up immediately taking this boy under his wing, and didn't really come out and say it, but it's obvious that he has some form of PTSD, and he's dealing with anger issues, and obviously an alcoholic, and he's just struggling to maintain and not either kill somebody or get sent to prison again, because he was in prison. So he's just trying to run this business, live some form of a life where he's not in prison, but then he has this boy come into his life, and he wants to protect him. So that's all I'm going to say about it. Again, amazing movie. It'll leave you thinking about it afterwards. One of the things I took away from a movie review once, it's always stuck with me, was a movie, you don't have to feel good after a movie for it to be good. You have to think about the movie afterwards. If it sticks with you and you're still thinking about it a day or so after, that's a good movie. It doesn't have to have a happy ending. They don't have to tie everything up. It can leave you with more questions than it was answered, but that's always stuck with me, is I don't have to feel good when I leave a movie always, and I actually prefer sometimes not to. I like to leave. I like a lot of, I guess you would call them nihilistic movies, where there's just nothing good comes from it, but oftentimes that's life. And yeah, but anyway, if you get a chance to check it out, I'd love to hear your comments on it below in the video, or if you've already seen it, I'd like your opinion. Again, this is just one of my picks. I'm sure you haven't heard of it, but again, left a major mark on me after I saw it. And again, I've watched it probably 15 times since then. And when people ask for my comments, or they want me to give them a pick for a movie, that's one of the ones I pick, because it's just, again, no real actors other than Nicolas Cage. Everyone else is walk-on people from the town, but again, give performances that would eclipse most actors these days. So that's another thing I liked about it. It was just so raw, but just so well acted. But again, check it out, Joe, Nicolas Cage, and let me know how you think. All right, later.